Good morning, friends, and happy Wednesday. I hope you're all having a wonderful day so far. I've been listening to this Dr. Gundry and have learned a lot from him that I didn't know before. The great thing about listening to him is he used to be a heart surgeon and he invented some things used for heart surgery. But he left his job doing that to help people before they have to get heart surgery. So he tells us about certain vegetables and other things that are super beneficial for our health because he doesn't want us to have surgery. And he himself had even lost 70 pounds and has kept it off, feeling great and energized. So he has some great information. If I were you, I would check it out because our health is worth it, just like our eternity is worth learning how to operate a new life. The doctor was explaining that what he'd learned studying at Yale University was amazing and great, but he didn't learn how to stop things from happening in his body. He learned how to help you when you were already suffering, and he wanted to change that and help you before you needed heart surgery by eating differently. He had even mentioned being at a conference once and was wanting to give the doctors advice on what his thoughts were about what they were doing wrong, but they wouldn't listen to him because the conference was about discovering new medicine. And we all know that the pharmaceutical company is worth almost $1 trillion. So they didn't want to hear his cure. They wanted to make more money, which is really sad. But we need to remember 1 John 5:19 says, we know that we are children of God and the whole world is under the control of the evil one. We have to be careful in this world about anything we listen to because we know the evil one is in control. I look at this and think about us when we're living in sin because the devil's destroying us just like when we eat certain things that's destroying us. But the cool thing is there's a cure for our heart for eternity, just like the doctor's cure for a healthy heart. But we have to learn to renew our minds to what we know and transfer them over to God. Romans 12:2 tells us, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. We have to renew our minds so we aren't lied to anymore by the devil. We have to learn to take our thoughts captive and make them obedient to Christ. You can find that in 2 Corinthians 10:5. The devil's always trying to seek, kill, and destroy us. That's John 10:10. And he does that by lying to us and telling us it's okay to do and act certain ways. That's because he knows if we continue acting and doing these things in our flesh, we'll be eternally separated from God. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be separated from God's love he has for me. We have to remember there's consequences for our eternity, just like there's consequences to our body when we eat whatever we want, like the doctor tries warning us on. We can't continue doing whatever we want in our lives and live in God's presence because sin separates us from God. That's found in Isaiah 59:2, and we have to keep that in mind. We're called to live by our spirit and renew our mind, and if we're pleasing the world, we aren't pleasing God. We have to live through our spirit. We can find that in Romans 8:1-16. So I encourage you to do some heart work, which is opening up the truth in the word and reading it and holding to the teachings in it so you can renew your mind and transform your life around. Because when we breathe our last breath here on earth, we won't have a chance to do life differently. So I encourage you to read Mark 7:14-23. It talks about not being so concerned about what we're eating in our body because it comes out of us. But what comes out of our mouths and hearts is what makes us unclean. So I encourage you to read those verses in Mark and look at the areas in your life that need to be cleaned up so you can clean up your heart and mind. God will deliver us from having a bad heart and give us his because he tells us he will. That can be found in Ezekiel 36:25-26, which says, I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all your impurities and from all your idols. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. So do yourself a favor and do some heart work because you don't want to live any more of your life not living with the peace, freedom, and joy we're meant to live with. I promise it's worth the sacrifices of you dying to yourself and living through Jesus instead. Straight from God through Dawn Marie. Love you all and have a blessed rest of your day.